Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Today we are talking about Mactan Island, Cebu, the Philippines. Why are we talking about Mactan Island? Because I have gained a new appreciation for the island right across from Cebu City, Mandaue City. And the last 4 years that I have lived here, this is Mactan Newtown beach area. It's a place where a lot of the island hopping takes place on the smaller banca boats and pump boats out of here, and it is loaded with condominiums and resorts. This is a Mesa condominium. I did a recent video about that. New condominiums, new resorts going up around the island, and it is shows you where the island is in relationship to Cebu City, the main international airport being on Mactan Island. And here's a view from one of the condominiums at Mactan Newtown. A huge development that is helping to transform that island, that part of the island. And more and more condominiums, more commercial buildings. There are several smaller malls on the island, and if you need anything bigger, Ayala and SM malls are just across the bridges. There's a good-sized public market in town, and several smaller markets also that are convenient to go to get your fresh vegetables, fruits, meats, and to experience the Philippine culture firsthand. And my experience in the 4 years that I've been in Cebu is that Mactan is a little slower paced than Cebu City and Mandaue City area. So it is. It also tends to be less expensive. When I first came here, I noticed the ads online that most of the properties for rent seem to be reasonably less expensive than over here in Cebu City. But I did not know that much about Mactan Island, so I chose to rent on Cebu City. And I will tell you that the traffic going from Mactan over into Cebu City, Mandaue City area can be rough a couple times during rush hour. Can be a little bit of a bear traveling that way. So you plan around that. And if you need to go to the city, if they do have an immigration office at Gaisano. Right now it's at Gaisano Island Mall, I believe it's called, right between the two bridges, kind of on the main road between the two bridges. And they can process most of your requests if you live over there. There are 2 or 3 hospitals over there, and I believe that if it's something really serious, they will probably send you over to the larger, better equipped hospitals in Cebu City, Mandaue City. Transportation is usually by taxi or grab car. Jeepney, of course, got the jeepneys around. They're going to start having more and more air-conditioned buses, my understanding. You've got your hobble or Ancus, which are motorbike taxis. And, of course, you got ferries going back and forth between the islands as well. You also have your tricycles, which are motorbikes with sidecars, and your pedicabs, and there's different names for them. Where they're actually pedaling. They got a bicycle with a little sidecar there, and you got somebody pedaling, and they're not supposed to be on most of the major roads. They're not supposed to be on there, but occasionally you'll see them out there. In fact, quite often some of the roads you'll see them out there. Anyway, this is actually in Cordova, the south end of Mactan Island, and they're every different section. Lapu-Lapu is kind of the main largest city on the island. On the south end you have Cordova. Going further north, Maribago, I think it's pronounced. And the personalities, the characteristics of each of these varies a little bit. Some are much more Filipino, if you can use that term, more of the culturally Filipino. Several other areas cater to the tourist, the condominium owner, and the investor. Lots of large condominiums up now and many more going up. I think this is Movenpick. And most of those resorts and condominiums, many of them are on the Pacific side, the east side of Mactan Island. Many of them have brought in sand to their beaches, white sand, and they maintain that very well. The higher end places, and you've got more of the local type beaches that aren't quite as nice, but still usable with much lower day fares as well. For instance, 50 or 70 pesos, dollar and a half for day use, versus a place like this is probably 1,500 to 2,500 for day use. Usually includes a meal or a buffet in that also. Many of the resorts there offer all the water sports, the banana boats, the jet skis, parasailing, and you name it, you can get it. They've got dive tours that go out of there, dive shops and dive tours they can set you up with, as well as scuba diving. I'm going to show you some prices here that I found at Mactan Newtown Beach, and you can often buy a package that includes several of those for a discounted price. Now they've got flying fish for 450 pesos. That is $9. Even if it'll only take you over to the next island, that seems like an awful good deal. I doubt if they have international flights yet for the flying fish. There are several new condominiums going up, new resorts, as well as housing subdivisions going up there as well. All right, we're going to use Google Earth to zoom into Mactan Island. Here's the Philippines here, Southeast Asia, and there's Cebu Island, and there's Mactan Island. You've got two bridges. Here's the newer 4-lane bridge and the smaller 2-lane bridge, the older one. And just to give you an idea, if you go across this bridge and follow that main road, you can't see it right here, but you follow that all the way out here, and that will take you to Plantation Bay Resort, I believe, pretty much within a few blocks of that. And there are a number of many resorts, especially along this east side. And I did one. Amisa that I showed earlier is a new condominium right out here on the very tip here. So everything is not listed on the map. There are, I think, about 3 different hospitals on the island. The international airport for this whole region, the large international airport and new international airport, is right here. They have a new international terminal too. And they are starting to get many more direct flights into Cebu City, Mactan Airport, because of that new terminal that's set up to handle millions of more people a year. So already we're seeing an increase in the direct flights coming in and out of there. Now, just to give you an idea, I'm going to type subdivisions, Mactan, Philippines, and see what shows up here. And many of them are not listed, actually. There are many subdivisions that are not listed on this map. There again, I think anybody can place a marker almost any place they want on a map anymore. So don't go by these markers as being completely accurate. But anyway, here we have the big international airport here. You've got MEPS 1, which is a big industrial area here. Timex, the watch manufacturer, has a big plant. I'm not sure if it's here or... But I've done there's many subdivisions, many very new subdivisions. I've done a video about AJOYA, AJOYA subdivision here. So they're investors, or they're people who live in other areas who only come once or twice a year, possibly. So one might find a decent rental in a place like that. I have done a video about, a little further down here, I believe this is ALEGRIA, and there's an ALEGRIA 1 and ALEGRIA 2. This may be 1, this may be 2 up here. prior to it being built up. Now, there are many houses already built on these lots here. And you'll find many other subdivisions, a subdivision, another subdivision. If that's all one included, I'm not sure. But there are many, many different subdivisions, another subdivision. And I don't know how, what the status of these are as far as being built up. But another reason why there probably are more opportunities on Mactan housing-wise, if you want to invest, or if you want to rent, or if you want to buy and live there yourself. I may have forgot to mention the VHIRE, which is a 12 to 15 passenger van that also transports people back and forth. And there are a couple terminals, and those vans also traverse the island, the different roads, and you stand by the side of the road and you just flag them down, basically. And if they have room, they'll stop and pick you up. And I think it's maybe, I'm not sure if it's 40 pesos, 30, 40 pesos to take you over to Ayala Mall, something like that. But I've used those a number of times, either going from SM Mall over here. SM Mall, large mall over here, has a big transportation terminal, as does Ayala Mall. You can also catch those at other terminals placed around the cities. So here's Lapu-Lapu City is the main city here. This is not Lapu-Lapu City out in the channel. Now I put into the search bar, I put in resorts, Mactan, Philippines, see what comes up. All right, there again, I'm sure that many of them are not listed, but yeah, in fact, there are at least 2 out here that are not listed. Here's one that's listed. There's a new hotel resort on this side, right next to a Misa condominiums. The Bay Resort, Mactan, they also are building a couple of, I think they've got condominium projects and resorts on another, maybe over on Bohol, I think. The Shangri-La, I think that's a large water park as well. Korean name for that, Crimson. The Blue Water, Maribago, I think that's, many of these are 4 or 5 star resorts. J Park Island Resort and Water Park is also a large water park. There are many, many, many resorts that are not listed here as well, so there are options. Keep in mind that these placement markers may not be quite accurate. Now here's a mini mart that shows up as a mall. Don't think that's a mall. Seaport Village, that may be more like a strip mall. I think I have seen a sign for that. The Marina Mall, Island Central, Mactan, Gaisano. This is the Island Mall. I believe this is where the immigration office is. The outlets, I have been by there, and it amounts to kind of like a large strip mall, what we call a strip mall in the U.S. Gaisano Grand Mall. Island Town Center, shopping mall. And in my travels over there, I've seen a couple other smaller malls going up as well. And somebody has said that Ayala is building a mall over there as well. Now this is down on the south end of Mactan, on the area called Cordova. And this is where the new bridge is coming in as well. They are building a 3rd bridge from the kind of the downtown area out towards, it's coming in from out towards South Road Properties on the south side of Cebu City, and it's coming across into Cordova. So they're widening roads and such, and this is a restaurant called Lantau. They've got 2 or 3, I think, in the Cebu Island. And very nice, jutting out into the sea channel here. So they serve, their specialty is seafood, but they have other things as well. I know several people who live on Mactan Island. A couple people who have bought, with their wives, have bought houses over there. And they like it over there. Pretty much anything and everything they need is over there. If they need the bigger mall, like IL and SM, go across the bridge and visit them. You have the international airport. You've got plenty of supermarkets, the public market, lots of restaurants to choose from. And generally, the cost of living is probably a little bit less over there, depending upon your lifestyle. Anyway, quick introduction. Thank you for watching. Please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe. Safe travels to you all, wherever you're at. And I'll see you next time.